Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three. With the Studio C Band. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and welcome to The Three. Yeah, this is the only television show that looks at how the crazy events shaping our world are actually shaping you, body, mind, and spirit. Well, our topic today is women in ministry. Is it biblical? Ooh, okay, well, let's just see. Deborah judged, Huldah prophesied, Phoebe was a deaconess, Miriam's prophecies directed Israel, Priscilla pastored along with her husband Aquila. I mean, come on, okay? God put the Savior of the world in a woman's womb, right? That was risky, I think. Well, Joel and Peter said our sons and daughters will prophesy. Tryphena, Tryphosa, and Persis said by Paul, they were said by Paul to be women who worked very hard in the Lord. The gospel was first preached through women as they ran from an empty tomb. But you might say, what about 1 Corinthians 14, 33 and 34? I know you were all saying that, weren't you? I just know it. I just heard it in the room. Well, it says, women should remain silent in the churches. They are not allowed to speak. Well, as for remaining silent, Paul had just told the Corinthian women in chapter 11, 3 chapters earlier, what to wear when prophesying in a church service, which some take literally, symbolically as a hat, and or some take literally as a hat and some take symbolically. But nonetheless, for him to, demand utter silence 3 chapters later would be contradicting himself. Well, here's the B story in Paul's letter to the church at Corinth. It seems historically that Corinth, or I should say Corinthian prostitutes, were the only unveiled women in society. And so he did not want the early church Christian women having to deal with the accusation of insubordination or worse, as they began to exercise their voices when they came together. But, it undeniably does say in that passage that women are not to speak. So many people don't stop and look at this passage. So what do we do with it today? We obey it. But we go to the Greek, the language in which the mandate was given, to see how to obey it in its fullness. To speak, actually, is the Greek word lalein, and it translates to speak imprudently, to chatter, babble, make inarticulate sound, or tweet. See, no tweeting in church. There you go. That's biblical proof right there. So Paul wasn't saying for women to never speak at all in church, but to never speak imprudently or inarticulately, and to not babble or chatter during a church service. But shouldn't that be said of all of us, male or female? Furthermore, regarding 1 Corinthians 14, Paul even says that if a woman has questions during the church service, that she should ask her husband at home. So, if we're going to interpret that literally and consistently, women should not only be barred from teaching and from having authority at church, but they should also be barred from asking questions while at church. I mean, do you know of any church that would turn away a woman with spiritual questions and send her home to ask her husband? Well, what about single women? Are they just out of luck? I mean, will those women never learn and grow? It is obvious that something else must be considered in the context that would help us better apply these instructions today, which we must do. But God is very serious about this lalein command. And so I'm going to tell you how His words here are interpreted and applied in my own life. I have noticed in my decades in church that women do have the greater propensity toward idle talk, babbling, chatter, even gossip. We women need to take seriously this passage to guard our mouths while in the house of God, and especially when using our voices in a church service. And may the same be said of our brothers. Amen? Amen. Yes. Now, this show goes all over the world into countries that are led by queens and women prime ministers, and it reaches churches who even have women pastors. So there are many, many cultures that have deep revelation of the fact that when you prevent women from leadership in the church, you cut out half your army. So just like men do not have to give up their diplomas if they had a woman teacher in high school or college, they also won't be denied entrance into heaven if they were led to Christ by a woman praying for them. And they also don't have to turn the channel or feel guilty if they find themselves learning something from Beth Moore, Joyce Meyer, or me. Or at home from their precious mothers and wives. Well, my guest today is the co-pastor of Lionheart Church in Atlanta, Georgia, alongside her husband. She is an author, a mother of 6. Wait, she sounds like somebody else I know. Okay, I know. It's literally, she is, we say, the positive of me. Just wait till you meet her. But everyone, please welcome to the 3 with me, Pastor Lorana Turnbow. What's so funny is I told Lorana when she saw me, we saw what each other were wearing. I selected this, I brought this to the studio today knowing, I just knew what you were going to wear. How is that? So we got connected a very interesting way. Yes. Became interested in dreams and visions, or dreams, I guess, the topic of dreams, yes. And your husband. Why don't you tell the story?
Well, it was really quite interesting because I was having a series of dreams. I've had visions since I was a child, didn't know I was having them, didn't really understand that that was how God communicates with me, is through all these pictures. I was seeing things all the time, but did not understand. Right. And as a result of these dreams, I was becoming perplexed. And I told my husband, I really have to get the interpretation of these dreams. I really need to understand what's going on with me. So that day, he was away from home. And he says, wait a minute, just wait 1 second. He goes to iBooks because he had walked through a bookstore. He had seen your book, Sing the Voice of God, but he didn't purchase it, but he saw the book. So he says, wait 1 minute. He purchases the book and says, okay, go to your iBooks. I open the book. I said, I open the book, and I prefer to hold the book. So I ordered the hard copy. Okay. I did order it. But in that moment, I really needed answers, and so I started reading the book. And as I was reading, I'm like, oh my God, I love this woman. I love this woman. I mean, just thinking, this is like my big sister. I mean, she's gone the path before me. She's doing all the things I'm currently living out in my life. And so I felt connected with you, not only with all your gifting, the poems, the dreams, the visions, and how God speaks to you, but also your life with the 6 children, the homeschooling, the ministry. It was completely divine. And at the beginning of the year, I had been praying that God would connect me with godly women, with divine relationships, divine partnerships. And so I'm just amazed at how it all came together.
Do you remember how you wrote me and then I couldn't find your email? I do. It got lost. I was searching. I mean, I was going through my inbox and I was like, this thing is hidden from me. It's buried. I was searching keywords and everything. And then finally you reached out again and I said, there you are.
Yes.
And then you were inviting me to your church. So tell us about your church, Lionheart Church. It's a unique place.
It is. It is multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-generational. I mean, that's really the desire and the call of our hearts for it to be a place for all people. And we have 2 campuses, one in Austell, Georgia, one in Riverdale, Georgia. Right. And it's just great. We have just a lot of imperfect people coming together who love God and who want to have better lives and change their lives and really follow what God has for them. And it's just great. It's just great.
Well, and your worship, I was blessed by going there. Well, you know, we're talking today about women pastors. Now, you and I are both in the South. Listen, I was raised in a very conservative denomination, and which I'm really grateful for. I was really grounded in God's Word. When we ventured off into, you know, the non-denominational path or the interdenominational path, and then it was, long story short, some of the leaders and the city leaders actually came to us, pastors, and they said they wanted to ordain me. And I said no at first. Wow. And the reason I said no was because of that passage and the 1 Corinthians 14 passage. And I did not want to put my family in a compromising position, my extended family. It took me only a few weeks for Chris and some others to convince me, and I did go through with it. But I really weighed it out because in the South, you don't run into a lot of women pastors. So how is it for you? What is it like in Atlanta? I know in the circles you and I move in, it's fine and it's accepted, but what is life like for you in Atlanta as a female ordained woman pastor?
Well, I can say this. I wasn't born in the South, and nor was I raised in the church. So I did not have the inhibitions that you had.
Okay.
I mean, I just didn't have them. I was born in the North, and a very assertive mother.
Yes.
And so I have that same drive and passion. And once I heard from the Lord, I got saved at 18. Once I heard from the Lord, you're called to the ministry. Yes. I don't know if I'm called to be Joyce Meyer or like someone like her, or because I didn't know many women in ministry at that time, or Marilyn Hickey. Those were my two favorites.
Right.
I did not know what path the Lord would take for have for me at that time. I just knew this was the will of God. So I set down that path to study and pray for years. And then when Otha, my husband, entered my life, I just told him that I am called to the ministry. I'm not sure in what capacity, but I am called to the ministry. And, are you okay with that? Because he did come from a denominational background, very, very strict denominational background. And he was okay with it. He was open to it. And again, we didn't know in what capacity. And from that point, we get married and I have a family. And that was my first ministry.
Yes.
And I stayed in the background for so many years, just so many years, as I'm just seeking the Lord again, praying, all that preparation time. And then 7 years ago, when we opened the church, we opened it as pastors together. Wow. He ordained me. And so I have not had any opposition in that regard. I mean, there are men who make comments, but I'm not swayed by that. I mean, if you had to defute women, if you were upset with women being in ministry, then you have to look at every other sector of life. You have women who are professors, judges, Supreme Court. I mean, you have so many women in leadership.
Yes.
Queens, I mean, so many in leadership. So why not a church? Why not? And so I'm so glad that you explained that passage of Scripture, because people take out of context and they misinterpret it.
That's just one of two or three. I really did. It was during that time that I actually got into the Word to study that, because I wanted to know if God wanted me to do this or not. So when I went through with it and they ordained me, the pastor said to me, now, honey, you're going to get 2 sets of business cards. And you're not going to put pastor or reverend or anything on one of them, because it will be difficult. And to this day, there are a lot of people in our city that most of the invitations, for a long time started to go just to my husband. And I had to come to this place. You can either get bitter or you can show them what you're made of.
That's exactly
the people
right.
in this city and now in the world know that I am a shepherdess. You call me what you want to.
Right.
Just don't take my sheep away from me.
That's right.
That's all I care about.
That's exactly right.
Well, when we come back, I actually have a clip of Otha that I want to play. He was here on the show last season, and he said what was really the most remarkable quote of the entire season. I can't wait to remind you of it, so stay right there. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Laura Harris Smith, inventor of Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend. If you would have told me 2 years ago when I was mixing that very first little bottle that we would have thousands of customers from all over the world, and that we'd have to quadruple our staff to keep up with the demand produced by our international TV infomercial, I'm not sure I would have believed you. And if you told me I'd be hearing regular testimonies of improved sleep, reduced stress, migraine relief, even help with other neurological challenges like seizures, PTSD, tremors, muscle spasms, even anxiety, well, I probably would have cried. And sometimes when I'm reading a Quiet Brain testimony, I do. But if you would have told me 1 year ago when we introduced our Quiet Brain Variety Gift Box that it would become the biggest selling item on our online store at quietbrainoil.com, I would have said, I believe it. The reason is because I created the gift box to be the perfect combination of all of our Quiet Brain products. The oil itself for topical use on the skin that contains only certified pure oils that can cross the blood-brain barrier and bring speedy relief and neurological support. And our aromatherapy line with our Quiet Brain shampoo and conditioner, candles, inhalers, all of which use the nasal passages to gain direct access to the limbic brain, which is the emotional center of the brain. So whether you need to use Quiet Brain topically or aromatherapeutically, the Quiet Brain gift box has everything that you need. And now we've given our gift box an upgrade without increasing the price. It now comes with our satin Quiet Brain Sleep Eye Mask. Just put a few drops of oil on the nose guard and you're on your way to enjoying a good night's sleep. And it all comes packaged in a beautiful gift box and delivered to the destination of your choice, or sent to you so you can use it for 7 different gifts or keep a few for yourself. When sold separately, the items in the box are $160, but you're getting it for $135. That's a $25 savings, meaning that you're getting the nasal inhaler and the shampoo and conditioner for free. The Quiet Brain gift box comes with one Whisper Quiet Nightlight diffuser with 16 color options and intermittent mist options, one dropper bottle of Quiet Brain, one Quiet Brain nasal inhaler, one Quiet Brain candle, the satin sleep eye mask, and your healing shampoo and conditioner. And remember, both are color safe, aloe enriched, paraben and sulfate free, loaded with wonderful ingredients like unscented coconut oil, olive oil, sugar beet betaine, and of course the Quiet Brain blend with its 8 essential oils like lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more. We get repeated testimonies of both being used with great effectiveness during headaches for pain relief. So go to quietbrainoil.com to order. Quiet Brain is a great gift for any time of the year, but especially for seasons like these that bring additional stress. Give the gift of health and peace this year. Give the gift of Quiet Brain.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. You're watching The Three, and I'm here with Pastor Lorana Turnbow. And last season, in season 1, her husband, Pastor Otha Turnbow, was here. They're both from Lionheart Church in Atlanta. And he was here, and he said what I believe now in retrospect was the most, not just rewarding, stunning, revolutionary statement that was made the entire season. So I want you to listen to this, because he draws it back around to our topic today. So listen to this. And you said something during the break that was so powerful. I want you to tell our audience.
Well, what we call racism is really not racism. It's actually the spirit of division. And you see it in the beginning when, as soon as Adam and Eve are on the scene, the spirit of division tries to divide the man between his God, divide the woman between her husband. You see it with their firstborn children, divide between the two children.
Right.
And, in the United States, the focus is on white and black. But when you look at everything worldwide, if you go into the continent of Africa, and you see how all of the different African factions are against one another, you go into the Middle East, you have North Korea and South Korea, the same exact group of people who hate each other with a hatred that is unbelievable. The Serbs with the Albanians and the Croatians. And the list just goes on and on. And the reason I call it the spirit of division, because if you take the spirit of division and apply it to people, it becomes racism.
Right.
If you apply it to politics, it becomes Republican and Democrat. If you apply it to class, it becomes blue collar, white collar, etc.
So that spirit of division, so at the core of what he said was what most people call racism is actually a spirit of division. So he spoke about party, about the church, he spoke about the races. This spirit of division, it's also trying to divide the army of God by keeping women out of it. And you've got so many women wanting to enlist, and so I told him that, but it's really a continuation of what you and I are discussing today, and that is that women are, or how did you say it in the break? You said something equally as profound. Go ahead.
It's just like with a lot of families, you have a mom and you have a dad. And the dad brings something to the family and the mom brings something to the family.
Right.
And that revelation really came to me of how important my role was in our church in particular.
There you go.
When I had missed a couple Sundays and I wasn't there, and one of the women said, "Hey, we need our mom. We love Dad, and he's great, and he gives us great instruction, but we need our mom. She provides love, and she also gives instruction and encouragement." And that, for me, in that moment, I think I was just struggling. Just, sometimes we have insecurities and fears, and we doubt ourselves. And that moment just sealed the deal for me, is that I am called, I am needed. Yes, my husband is powerful. Yes, he has great revelation. This is not a competition. I compliment him, and that I am needed here. Just like I'm needed in my family as a mom, then our church family also needs their mom. And so if nothing goes to raise up other women who may feel insecure, do not have someone to validate, what God is doing in their life and their hearts.
It's what Aquila and Priscilla did.
Absolutely.
But funny story, right after I was ordained, I was invited to a little church to speak, and it was a Baptist church, and I don't think any of the deacons knew what I was about. And I got there and I just thought, oh, they're okay with this. And so I teach, And then we get back afterwards. The pastor had this lovely garden in his backyard. So we get back there, and all the church deacons are there, and my husband's there, and I'm just enjoying myself. This is 20-something years ago, you know. And I'm enjoying myself, and this one deacon, I don't know how he found me alone up in the grove, but it was just the two of us. And he said to me, "So what do you do with the 1 Corinthians passage?
Wow.
What do you do with that?" But I thought, this man is older than me. He's an elder, therefore, in my mind, I am not going to disrespect him. And I just whispered in my head, I said, "Well, Father, you're going to have to defend me here,
right,
because I am not going to let it be said of me that I engaged in this standing here in this pastor's backyard. And I will tell you the truth. From on top of him, remember, we're standing under trees.
Yes.
This bird, right on his lapel, and he starts picking with it, and he's going, "There's marshmallows on my lapel." And he leaves to go take care of it. And Chris walks up right about this time and had heard the tail end of it. And he said, "Yeah, that bird was eating marshmallows." It's the most amazing thing. And the Lord just took care of me. I didn't have to defend myself.
You didn't have to defend
at all.
yourself. And you wouldn't have changed that man's mind.
No.
At all. So sometimes it's just better just to be quiet. In that situation, just let the Lord just fight your battle.
That's
and
exactly
the bird
right.
did the job.
I hope he's not watching. But anyway, I want to talk about this collaboration you're a part of, this book. Tell us about it.
I'm so excited. I'm just, in ministry, we serve people. We serve men, women, children. We serve people.
Right.
Just for their good, to help them improve and have a great life. And in that process, we grow as well. And so I am collaborating. I mean, I've been told, for 20 years now, you should write a book, you should write a book, you should write a book. So I have a lot to say. I mean, this is a talk show, I have a lot to say all the time. And so finally, I'm going to put my words on paper. And it is a book collaboration with some other women to encourage women and inspire women. So I'm excited about this project. I don't have a date yet as to when it's going to be published, but I just trust that it will be a great inspiration to many women and men too who will decide to pick up the book. But it is written by women for women.
Okay. So then in our topic today, so maybe you all will be able to discuss this a little bit, or at least in some way bring attention to the fact that that women are needed. So one of the most difficult things is for women to lead this argument that women are needed. So what I appreciate about both of our husbands is that they stand in front of many and say,
Absolutely.
I couldn't do what I do.
Yes.
She is my helpmate.
Yes.
And in every way, not just in our parenting, not just in who we are as a son and daughter to our parents, but also to our congregation. We are mom and dad, and you are mom and dad.
Yes.
So when you have your show, are you going to invite me on it?
Absolutely.
I'm just really picking up on that right now. You're going to have your own show.
Well, as I was watching, I could totally do that. I could totally be. Laura's just showing me what to do for the future. I could totally do it. But as you mentioned on one of the earlier shows with one of your guests, that's just good enough for church. That's good enough for church. And that was my husband's biggest complaint. It's not good enough for church. It's not good enough for God. I mean, he's the one that gave us this platform. He's the one that did all of this. It is not good enough for him. And he also believes in excellence, and not perfectionism, but excellence and doing everything well. So yes, in public as well as in private.
Yeah, all of it, all put together. And then when you raise children that are that way, it comes back to bless you.
It does. And really watching your children today on set, I see the future for even my own children. Mine are younger than yours, but we have one that's in college. The rest are still in school. I'm like, okay, Lord, this is it. When you put the word in them and love them, and they're just going to grow up and just
change the world.
Change the world.
We try to raise them to be world changers, so why wouldn't we expect them to change it? Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I say this all the time. I've said it to you before, but I mean it. If I lived in Atlanta, you would be my pastor. You guys, if you're in Atlanta, get to Lionheart Church fast. Don't let a Sunday pass. Thank you, Laverna.
Thank you, Lord.
Appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody come right back. We got to close in just a moment.
Hi, Laura Harris Smith here, and you know by now that it's a passion of mine to see people get healthy body, mind, and spirit. As a nutritionist and as someone who almost lost her life due to a lack of proper sleep, I'm convinced that sleep is the most important but the least emphasized puzzle piece for total body health. I created my Quiet Brain Essential Oil Blend to offer support to sufferers of migraine, tremor, PTSD, anxiety, seizures, and more. But one of the most frequent testimonies we get from all over the world is that it helps with insomnia. People are sleeping better with Quiet Brain. But my other passion is helping people hear God's voice, not just during the day while awake, but also at night while they sleep and dream. And that's why I wrote Seeing the Voice of God, what God is telling you through dreams and visions. And now my two worlds, that is author and inventor, really come together on this topic of sleep and dreams through my Sweet Dreams package. You get one rollerball bottle of Quiet Brain, which is comprised of lavender, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, and more, and a copy of Seeing the Voice of God, complete with a 1,000 symbol dream dictionary for interpreting your dreams, and instructions on which vitamins and minerals to help you better remember your dreams. Sleep is the mattress of dreams, so grab this offer while it's still available. One copy of Seeing the Voice of God and one rollerball bottle of Quiet Brain for easy application. And, while supplies last, a free Quiet Brain satin sleep eye mask. So take back your sleep with Quiet Brain and take back your dreams with Seeing the Voice of God. Order today at quietbrainoil.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I want to ask you a question. Are you either a lady or you have a lady in your life and you know that they are a leader? She is a leader, and yet maybe she doesn't know it. Maybe you don't even know that you are. Maybe you're at home with your children. I've been there, had 6 beautiful children, and I don't regret a moment of that. Leadership finds you wherever you are, though. So I'm talking to those people who they know that they're called to lead, but they don't quite know how to get there. I'm about to tell you the thing you need to do if you feel like there's even more for you, but you don't quite know where to start. You need to become a part of a local church. Is that because it's all about church attendance and rules? No, it's because that is the best place. I can't think of any better organization, no corporate setting, anything that will pour into you and call your gifts right back out and allow you an opportunity to use them in a very safe place. So, you know, it's kind of humbling for me to think. I remember so many times in my young life, in my 20s, 30s, even back in my 40s, where I would watch women, heroes on Christian television. And I remember when I got to meet Marilyn Hickey, I told her, you know, that I had just sat in my bedroom and just listened to her and learned from her. And so now here I am with my own show telling you that you are important in God's army, in the body of Christ. So get involved, get connected to a church, and start using those skills that God has put within you. Somebody needs you. And if you don't have a church and you're in the Nashville area, I would love to see you at mine. You can go to eastgateccf.com to learn all about Eastgate Creative Christian Fellowship. I love it when people show up at the altar and say, hey, I saw you on your show. We love to get you in and help grow you and just do life with you. So you can also check out former episodes of The Three at the3.tv. Thank you for joining us again today. We'll be right back here next week with another episode because we're always taking care of you, body, mind, and spirit. Bye-bye, everybody.